All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Roundtable event hosted by the Southwest Regional Manufacturing Association. I'm Jeff Poirier, the board president, and I'll be moderating today's event for the SRMA. If you're unfamiliar with the SRMA, or this is your first event, welcome. Our purpose as a nonprofit within Southwest Florida is to promote idea exchange among businesses within the manufacturing sector. We provide resources and contacts for those businesses, and we're here as an advocate for the manufacturing industry as a whole. We want to identify gaps where the industry needs help, and today we're going to be focusing on some of those gaps in terms of education and workforce here in Southwest Florida. So today's topic is going to revolve around accelerating workforce skills and certifications and be centered on the Immokalee Technical College, or ITech, and specifically its Center for Manufacturing Excellence, or CME. We have three panelists today, or speakers that are affiliated with the college. So right now we have on the line Aaron Paquette. He's the Assistant Director of Immokalee Technical College, but soon we'll be having Doran Oxender join us and Ross Porter. So hi, Aaron, welcome.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good, good.
Okay.
So basically from there, today's topic will focus on apprenticeship program offered by the college, on-the-job training, rapid credentialing, and certifications for enhancing the workforce skills. So as an organization, we appreciate everyone taking the time out of their day to be part of this call or watching the recording. We're hoping to, solidify and extend resources here locally to help manufacturing businesses within Southwest Florida. To start, I'm going to let Aaron introduce himself, and we'll have Doran and Ross introduce themselves when they arrive and they get into the panelists. So Aaron, if you want, give us your intro, your bio here, and we'll move from there.
Sure. So good morning, everybody. My name is Aaron Paquette. I'm the Assistant Director here at Immokalee Technical College. With us, our college is roughly 11 years old. We have a 1,500-hour machining program here. And then, let's see, in 2019, I believe it was, we worked with Arthrex. We worked with a couple other manufacturing companies in the area, as well as the Naples Chamber of Commerce. And we were able to write and secure a $3.5 million job growth grant that then was able to produce the startup spinoff of our extension campus in Golden Gate City right now, the temporary one for the ITech Center for Manufacturing Excellence. With that school right now, we have replicated our 1,500-hour machining technologies program that we have here at ITech to offer it there in Golden Gate as well. I believe we're up to 8 participants full-time. But we have also offered evening enhancement courses, which have been short-term training courses. They center from anything from blueprint reading to basic machining, OSHA, CNC, some software like it will come to me in a second, sorry. From the design and some CAM software stuff, Mastercam, things like that, SolidWorks, and just perfecting those skills. We've also offered Six Sig as some organizational skills. We've had anything from entry-level participants up to managerial come through and take some of those classes. So I think in total, we're close to around 200 people that have been served over the past 2 years with those short-term kind of training classes. And they range anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the class that they sign up for. And they're offered, some of them are offered virtually, some of them are offered on the campus, on the site, a couple times a week during the evenings. But our main focus right now is we basically have a year, about 15 months left with this grant cycle before we're supposed to be moving into a permanent facility. And so Collier County Public Schools, along with some other entities in Collier, are working on that permanent site. I believe they may have something identified. They're still working out some of the details with that, but that will ultimately end up housing our permanent facility for the Center for Manufacturing Excellence. And the idea behind that center is a regional approach to specifically manufacturer training, and a list of programs that are in development for there, and all things that support manufacturing across many different industries. So we're looking forward to that and kind of get the ball rolling and programming up on the menu for what's going to occur there. Another thing in the works is the apprenticeship training that we're looking at starting. Last year, the governor had issued $9.4 million for career pathways. We did not get the grant. In Collier, Lorenzo Walker actually got a portion for their HVAC pre-apprentice. We will be resubmitting the grant, assuming that the governor's budget goes through and there's another $9 million slated for the startup of apprenticeship programs. So it's a pretty solid grant that we wrote. And why we weren't funded, I don't know. I know that I believe it's AM Skills out of Pasco County received a huge lump sum out of the 9 million grant. They received about over $1 million to do the exact same apprenticeship training that we were offering. So the way it was written and the way I kind of proposed it and put this together is it's like a 2+1 or a 2+2 type of apprenticeship training. What we were looking at doing is there's such a vast need out there for manufacturing and skills. And not everybody needs a CNC or an operator. It's across the field. They need everything from, thank you. They need everything from quality control to design, to CNC, to manual machining, manufacturing, maintenance, you name it. It's across the board. And for us for iTech to start up each one of those as a program, that's not going to supply the manufacturers with boots on the ground as fast as they need boots on the ground. So our idea here with this apprenticeship program is everybody enters and goes through like a 2-year basic manufacturing type of training. Everything from soft skill and job skill training to just the entities within manufacturing. And then between the college and whatever organization we're working with or who they identify to send through the training, we then develop a pathway for the next year to 2 years post that basic manufacturing. Now that we're calling it a specialized section of the course or the program, where then that participant would then specialize in whatever skill the business needs. We have the availability to obviously teach a variety of skills there. So we really want it to cater to what the businesses need and what the businesses are calling for. Because like I said, let's say there's 5 companies that need CNC programmers or operators out there. But the turnaround time for us to go through an entire CNC program, we're taking them out of the job. Okay, so we want these people in the job. We want them to come to us in the evenings, maybe a weekend, whatever the schedule looks like. And from that point, we give them the upskills and training based on the manufacturer or the organizational needs of the company. So it's really a hand in hand with the business. There's a lot of apprenticeship programs throughout the state that develop somewhat of a cookie cutter approach to the apprenticeship programs. And we're not hearing a lot of success from the business side. And those are the people that are on our advisory committees and steering these programs and helping us to develop this stuff. So we want to make sure whatever we're putting out, the product we're producing and giving to industry is something that industry wants and industry needs. For us just to pump out apprentices that then have to be completely retooled and skilled based on where they have employment, nobody's benefiting there. So the idea here is we start with the employer. The employer recognizes an employee that they wish to invest in. They see potential in this student. or this participant, this employee, they want them to move up into this area or push them into that area based on both their ability, their interest, and then we take the training aspect of that and work with the company to plan out the curriculum and what it is that we're going to teach on the side to give that uptick in training, so then their employee can come right directly to them and continue to work and progress in those skills as they go along.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're looking at here.
All right. I think you left me with a few questions I can ask after this, but what I'll do next is basically typically what we'd have here is kind of a sponsor, and they would open up for a 2 to 5 minute pitch. Unfortunately for this event, we did not have a sponsor. So basically I'm going to say thanks for everyone for joining again today. If you do want to sponsor, or you're interested in joining the society or the association and being a member, or sponsoring an event, a roundtable, social, would it be, you can email us at info@srma.net, or you can visit our website at www.srma.net. We count on sponsorships and memberships to fund events like this, to have socials, to connect the manufacturing industry. So we appreciate any feedback and any help we can get. So the roundtable portion of this, I'm going to ask questions. Some of these I think you covered already, Aaron, but I think what I'll do is I'll probably ask the questions again. That way, even if there's a little bit of an overlap, anyone that joined after you started your intro will have a chance to hear you talk. So right now I'll kind of ask some questions. I'll go back and forth. Some of these may be in order, some may be out. It's kind of the spur of the moment, so I'll try to grill you. But the entire event is recorded, so you do have access to this on the SRMA website. Or if any audience members have questions during the event or after the event, Zoom has a chat feature. You can actually put your question right in the chat, and I should see it pop up, and I can ask that either during the event or at the end of the event. Or if you have additional questions for our speakers at the end, you can email us again at info@srma.net, and we'll try to get those connected with either Doran or Aaron or Ross after the event. So basically starting off, I'll start off with some that are more general for, I guess, iTech, and then we'll move towards CME. Hopefully Ross will be joining us by then. So you mentioned already the college has been in existence for about 11 years, so you're still ramping up. Are you seeing good growth every year in terms of student population?
We are. In fact, this year we were kind of scared heading into the year when we were going to reopen, wondering exactly what we would see. And it's amazing that we actually had quite an increase in enrollment this year. We're trying to space everybody out, do our social distance, and put all of our safety precautions in place. But this year has probably enrollment-wise been better than the past previous couple years. So that's been really nice. Now, manufacturing is still one of those programs that we struggle to get participants in, and mainly because it's kind of an unforeseen, it's like an unseen force that exists here in our region. I come from the Midwest, from Michigan, so half my family was in the manufacturing industry in some sort. So I kind of grew up with it. And down here, when you speak of machining, when you speak of industry, people don't think Southwest Florida for those things. But we know that it exists, and many employers, companies out there want to grow and want to expand and have the ability to. They just don't have the skilled workforce to do that. So we're really working hard to get with, especially like the engineering academies and things like that Collier County offers at the high school level, trying to get them through our facility, get them to see some aspects within manufacturing and really promote that growth there. Like I said, the evening courses have really been a big success for us in town in Golden Gate City with the Center for Manufacturing Excellence. So again, word of mouth is starting to grow a little bit about it. And again, we're starting to see some positive enrollment from that.
Yeah, I wonder if we're seeing the same thing we saw, I guess, in 2008, where college students or people that were thinking about college went into college because of the bad, I guess, economy at that point. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise, and we'll have some higher skilled workforce because of the pandemic. You never know.
Sure. And I mean, for most people that graduated last year, they spent the culminating semester virtual.
Yep. Yep. So you guys, I did see a lot of technical programs. You have a wide variety of different, I guess, different coursework and course fare, whatever you want to call it. What made you guys move into the manufacturing? You might have touched on that during your intro, but what was the driving force behind that?
I wasn't here when it actually started. However, from my understanding, it was really that the kind of partnership, if you will, and the support from Arthrex, which is right down the street in Ave Maria, where they now have all their manufacturing occurring. So again, it was, they built there. They needed they needed a workforce, they needed workers, they needed skills. So really with them, and then we had the space, and so we were in proximity to that. So kind of working with them to build this and start this program is kind of how that occurred. And then through expanding on what we have and working with different organizations and kind of getting a handle on just how many opportunities there are out there for manufacturers, that is really kind of what led to the expansion of this program and the ask for the job growth grant for CME.
Okay. Yeah, we, as an SRMA, we have Mike Kosnowick on the board, and he says nothing but good things to say about both CME and iTech. So
yeah, Mike was a huge role in helping us get everything started, and still plays a huge role with us, and supports the apprentice program through Arthrex, that we do the training here on site. At iTech, and just one of our leading advisors on our boards for manufacturing. Absolutely.
It's great to see the public-private partnership there. That's kind of what we're striving for. I do have the first chat question, but I don't know if it was supposed to be announced out loud. Are you on LinkedIn, Aaron, so someone can connect with you?
I am not. I was just going to respond to that.
Okay, all right. Just checking. All right, so obviously we have a gap here in Southwest Florida, I guess, in the technical side for manufacturing. You guys are trying to fill that gap. What I've seen, at least, is people bounce out of the region, you know, if the jobs aren't here to support the skills or what we're trying to develop here, I guess. Do you see the skill set that you guys provide for small businesses working, you know, do you see it striving more towards the large stuff like Arthrex and, you know, Shaw Development, or even, I can't think of the other one, but do you see it fit them more, or are you trying to create the program that'll work for everyone down here, being that we have a lot of
you know, just like any one of our programs that we offer here at iTech, you know, the state of Florida Department of Education issues a curriculum frameworks for all these programs. They give us a recommendation of the hours to complete the program. They list the occupational completion points that they say, you know, students should know these skills when they leave this program. So that's one area of every program that we offer here. The second and the most important part is our advisory committee. And our advisory committees are made up of businesses around the region. And depending on the program, let's take manufacturing for example, you know, we do have Arthrex, we do have Shaw Development, we do have US Sugar, we have all these big companies, but we also have smaller companies. We have InReach Storage, we have some of the smaller manufacturers in the area, and then we have like a Pelican Wire and a Parker Aerospace. So really, they are the ones that say, okay, yeah, this curriculum that the state provides is excellent. However, you know, we need XYZ. So with their guidance, with their support, they're the ones that are really kind of dictating and driving our product. So we really value their input. We value their expertise. They're the ones that are there hiring people and seeing what the gaps are. And then they tell us those gaps so that we can then train in that way. One of the things that we started to do, I think it was about 2 years ago, was students that were close to they were in their last semester. The machining technology program is about 3 semesters long. So in the last semester, we set aside about a month where the students would have the opportunity to go to different companies and actually do kind of a job shadow. For 3 days, they would go through the new employee kind of orientation, the shop floor, and then they would be staged with a veteran worker in whatever environment that the company saw this person possibly being employed at. And from that, the students really got an overview of what is available out there. Some of them want to go to an Arthrex, some want to go to a Shaw, some want to go to, you know, a smaller place. Some of them want to start their own companies. So, but they're, you know, our kind of whole overarching goal here is exposure to all the different aspects that are out there, and exposure to the companies that we work with, and again, listening to what it is that they need, and then going from there. So to kind of roundabout to the actual question, our students go everywhere.
That works.
We're not seeing, you know, like Arthrex isn't taking all 14 graduates, Shaw isn't taking, you know, they might have one or two, Arthrex might have one or two, and it kind of goes on the list. A lot of it has to deal too with location. You know, our students that live here in Immokalee, Arthrex is a great option. It's 10 minutes down the road for them. It's not a drive all the way into Fort Myers or downtown Naples or wherever it may be. So that becomes a factor. And then again, they look at, and what we kind of help the students understand is what's the upward movement look like in some of these companies that you're looking at? You know, what's the ability for you to be able to advance? If you're going to a very small shop, you know, this is your job set, this is your skill. Where a company like Arthrex or Shaw or bigger organizations, there's a lot of upward mobility available to the student based on their drive, based on their work ethics, based on what they want to achieve post-graduation.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. All right, I'll introduce Greg Richter. Greg, you're actually on mute if you want to unmute yourself real quick. So Ross couldn't make it this morning, unfortunately. So Greg is impromptu stepping in his place. So we appreciate that, Greg. Greg, if you could unmute yourself and give you a second here. Give us a brief bio on your role with iTech and CME and what you do for the college.
Okay. As of presently, I am an instructor with iTech. Previously, before that, I was one of the original advisory board members for iTech. Doran and myself, we got together before. This is just a classroom. There was nothing in it, and kind of developed the program from there. And now I've been teaching here for the last 3 years, and with Ross going to CME.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Greg. So Greg, just to catch you up, we're going through, it's a roundtable. So basically I'm going to ask questions and I'll kind of direct them towards you or Aaron and Doran if he gets here as well. So if you guys feel like you can answer a question better than the other, by all means, try to take it over and we'll move forward from there. So that leaves me, all right. What do you hope to expand to in the near future? We'll say the next 5 years. Do you expand, you know, are you moving to some of the Lee County, moving a little bit west towards Cape? What do you see as your footprint expansion wise? I know you're in Immokalee and Naples at this point, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So, you know, being part of Collier County Public Schools, as well as, you know, Collier County Chamber of Commerce kind of working with us with the CME kind of startup with the grant, we're pigeonholed to Collier County. Now, our hope is that the permanent footprint or the permanent facility that will be established is as far north in Collier County as possible, preferably somewhat close to I-75, so that it is a short commute for Lee County, because we do have a lot of business advisory members from Lee County, and we know that there's a lot of manufacturing in Lee County. But like I said, because of, you know, our umbrella of where we fall under, we're stuck here in Collier. Now we want to reach as much of Region 24 as possible, which is Port Charlotte, all the way out to Hendry County. So we think that, you know, with iTech being in Immokalee, that gives us a lot of the East Lee County, Lehigh, Hendry, Glades, and then here in Immokalee and even the Estates, and then with the North Collier, facility, we'd be looking again at Naples area, South Lee County, Bonita Springs, maybe even Cape Coral, kind of coming down for that training.
Okay. All right, I'll try to switch back to some that are more, I guess, CME related. So Ross, what do you currently teach for classes, just to give you a minute extra?
Yeah, Ross isn't in the meeting.
Nope, sorry, Greg, sorry. I've got Ross right here, my bad.
Here at in Mockley, we teach the machining technology course, which is a 1,500-hour course. And we also teach an apprentice program for Arthrex, which is a 4-year program. They come on Mondays and Tuesdays from 3 to 6 for 4 years. And after 4 years, they graduate from our apprentice program.
So that's that 1,500-hour class coursework, is that full-time?
Yes.
Full 5 days a week?
Yes. And then we also teach specialty courses at CME in the evening. I used to teach those, and Ross has now taken those over. Before we had a permanent building, we were teaching them out of high schools.
Okay. Wow.
And those are specialty courses, and those they're blueprint reading courses, OSHA courses, success courses, machining.
Yep.
Different.
What do you see for demographics out of your class? You seeing a lot of younger individuals that are choosing technical college over a 4-year, or are you seeing, an older generation coming back and trying to get retrained in
No,
skills?
I'm basically seeing a younger generation
Okay.
come through, and kind of dropped off here a little bit. I don't know if it's because of COVID. That enrollment has kind of dropped off a little bit, but yeah, it's mostly young students.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned night courses or evening courses, right? Since, the SRMA, we are affiliated with a lot of businesses, and you're going to see this from the business side and asking questions about, apprentices and people that coming out of the program. How does the night courses work? I mean, what time do they typically, are they 5 days a week, 4 days online? Give me some kind of an idea there.
You hit on all of it. Basically, some are online. I think 2 courses we offer that's online. Introduction to CNC. We use a program called Immerse to Learn, which is an online program, and that is taught online. And then our OSHA course, which is a 10-hour course that is also online. It's the same course that we teach during the day. It's taught on nights.
And I did read through the website, which is probably why my questions are pointed. Can you elaborate on the employability skills you guys do and what that relates to? I know you have, it's either a course or at least a small course. What is the goal of that, and what is your objective with those kind of a course?
The courses is what I saw when I was teaching it. A lot of people they were already employed. They were looking to advance in their career by taking the courses and getting some education in. I had a lot of students from Arthrex that took my courses. And then the Success and those courses, basically management took those. I saw a lot of people in management take those courses to better their shop. And,
okay. Now, do you have any prerequisites for anyone signing up for this program? Do you need a GED, or is this for anyone pretty much that wants to sign up?
This is anybody that wants to come in.
Okay.
Just show up and listen.
Okay, so I know big down here for manufacturing within our industry is probably, aerospace potentially and medical, right? So Arthrex, and you've got Parker Hannifin and all that. Do you offer anything more towards the construction side where it's maybe some welding, some fabrication work, or do you plan on doing that at all, or is it strictly machining?
That might be towards Aaron right now. I'm just
That's why it's open to both of you.
Yeah. So currently Lorenzo Walker, which obviously is with Collier County Public Schools too, has a welding program. And from our number one, welding is a huge expense to start up a program for welding. So right now Lorenzo Walker has not completely filled enrollment there for their welding program. So to duplicate a program at that cost is really not on the book at this moment. Now for future development, If we see the need, and we're hearing it from the businesses, and there's a technical school that has a full enrollment with a waiting list, and people just don't have the training options, because it's closed off, then that's when the discussion would occur to possibly open up another one, look at another one. Now, our heavy equipment program, they do some welding in heavy equipment. They don't go through any of the certificate type of training for it, but they are taught some of the basics and do have some welding and fabrication in that program. That kind of occurs, and the instructor is also kind of started some evening things with students to just increase their welding skills and knowledge.
Okay. Now, do you guys list your recent graduates for businesses to take a look at to see if they want to find someone with high skills, or is it up to the students and maybe your HR program, whatever you have, to help find jobs?
Right. Yeah. So again, really that kind of circles back to our advisory committees. One of the things we started, per our accreditation with Council on Occupational Education, we have to have 2 advisory meetings a year that we have to host. We do one in the fall and one in the spring. And about 2 or 3 years ago, we took on this approach where the spring advisory committee would consist of the businesses, the instructor, and the students. And during that time, kind of like what we're doing here, those businesses would be the panel, where students would have the ability to speak with them, to ask them questions, to talk about employment. And then that kind of morphed and led into a job fair event in the spring for all of the businesses to kind of look at students that were ready to graduate or were looking for a summer internship to take a test drive. And so that's really been successful. Now, out of that, I would say probably somewhere between 80 to 90% of the students end up finding their placement right during that meeting. Not necessarily the one that they're going to stick with forever, but as far as the one that they're going to take right after graduation, students get multiple job offerings from that event. So that's really been beneficial. And again, to be an advisory member, there's no cost, there's nothing associated with it other than giving us your expertise twice a year, and then occasionally responding to a survey or an email regarding, skills needed, what are gaps that you're seeing, how can we improve our training to fit you. So most of our students, between the shadowing opportunities and then the on-site kind of job fairs that we offer with our advisory members, most of our students find employment right then or through those two.
It's pretty good. So this could be for either one of you. Where do you see the future of manufacturing going, and how do you guys stay on the forefront? I know, multi-axis CNC, some automation, maybe some robotics. What do you guys look at, or is it up to the board at that point to discuss?
A lot of it is the board. It's a combination of the workforce development board, which kind of provides us with their targeted occupational list for Regional 24. So for us to kind of get approval and see the ability to benefit for this region, there are certain job titles that have to occur on those lists. Now with those lists, that kind of gives us some flexibility of the directions we can head as far as offerings. So I'm sorry. So as again, taking a look at that and what's being offered now, our CME, we have moved into some robotics. We've purchased, Greg, you can correct me, it's a Roots robotic.
Yes.
Correct. So Ross has gone through the training on that and some PD. Now the students are being kind of getting used to using that as well. That will be something that we really look to get into, as well as advanced manufacturing is on our list, because we're hearing that quite a bit. Automation, robotics, and we're hearing a lot of need for machine repair, and for things like that aspect of it. we did have Swiss screw machines that we were doing a little bit of training on. However, the one was a Numera that was on loan, just as they were using us as a showroom with a reciprocal that we could do training on while it was here on our property. That's been sold and has not been replaced. And the Citizen one, I believe, Greg,
It's gone too.
is gone too. Yeah.
Yes.
So both of those assets, and again, unless we have a windfall here or some grant money that becomes available, our ability to purchase large items were really constricted. A lot of our money for that type of stuff comes from like our Perkins grant or other things, where we're talking $40,000 to $60,000 a year. We are in the process of purchasing 2 more engine lathes for our machining here at iTech. So again, it kind of comes and goes with that. And again, it really depends on what industry is seeing and what industry is steering us towards. That's really what defines our pathway for training.
Okay. So I'm kind of getting the mix of this is you're basically, creating programs around what the industry needs, the companies that are here, the ones affiliated with the board that reach out. So if I'm a company that's watching this webinar and I have, some interest in, getting some skilled workers or potentially doing some on the job, where do I go? What do I do next? Who am I reaching out to, and what am I asking for questions?
Sure. So Greg or Ross are going to be your first line of communication there. As far as you're looking for someone, you're an industry in the area that has a need. Here's my my wish list. And then usually what would happen from there is some dialogue would occur between you or that person, Ross and Greg. And from there you would get an invitation. Why don't you come and be a part of our board? Supporting the program, supporting the training, getting to know our students. Would you be available to allow students to come to your location to kind of test drive? Would you be interested in taking on some for summer internship work, and kind of just getting involved in that aspect of it? And then working obviously with the instructors who then come to myself and Mr. Oxender as far as requests or ideas or expansions or new training or evening courses that they would like to offer that this company is really in need of. Some more CNC. We don't do a ton of CNC. It's towards the end of the program, but this is going to be targeted towards this. We're going to use this machining that we have here on campus, and it's going to be a 4-week course in the evening. So that kind of is what gets the ball rolling with all of that.
Now, do you guys offer tours for maybe any manufacturer that would like to come see what you offer as a program?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, right now, the county does not allow any visitors on campus. However, we have a very robust virtual tour on our website at itech.edu. And what I can do is I can put the link of that in the chat, so anybody can click on that and go to it. It kind of gives you an overview of the entire campus, but then it actually takes you right into our machining program. There's one there, I believe, for CME as well, to kind of walk through, get a gist of what the shop and the classrooms look like, the machining that's available. And then again, if you go into the actual courses, it kind of lists some of the occupational completion or the competencies that they work on, as well as our involvement with level 1 NIMS training and certificates there. Basically, students, we strive for every student to get the 9 out of 11 and earn their special merit. Most of them do that. And I think at one point, I know, Greg, and you can even kind of chime in here, was it last year or 2 years ago that 30% of the NIMS level 1 earned in the state were us and CME?
Yeah, it was last year. 26% of all special merit certificates earned in the state of Florida went through iTech and CME.
Can you guys explain, I guess, the initialism or acronym, NIM, for people that might not be aware?
It's
Maybe I got you.
National Institute for Machining.
Okay.
Metalwork.
It's yeah, skills. It's what we teach too.
Okay.
One of the things we did when we started this program, we say we want to teach them how to walk before they run. And what we do there is we teach them manual machining. We feel that a very robust background in manual machining will make for a very good CNC machinist. Yeah. We can take CNC, we can turn out CNC machinists all day long, as far as button pushers, we call them, where you go and you load a part, push button, take the part out, put another part in, push button. We can train those all day long. But to be a well-rounded machinist, to be able to make fixtures, to be able to make molds, to be able to do die work, and that's what we're teaching here. We're getting them on the ground level, and the NIMS we found is a good way to start. They earn certificates, and what I've noticed with the NIMS program, you do the level 1 will introduce you to the next level will introduce you to the next level. They just blend it to the next one project. Okay. And we have something here that if you do 10 projects, you get your name up on the board. It's an honor here, and not every student gets their name up there. They get to put their certificate of special merit up on the board.
What kind of projects do they engage in?
I have some right here on my desk. I don't know if you can see it. This is one of the milling projects where they have to, all these holes are a certain size, certain depth, and this is actually what they get graded on. They turn this into me, and I grade this, and if it's not the print, make it again.
Nice.
So they do that, and one of the first projects, this isn't complete. This isn't a NIMS project, but this is a project they do on their own. This is a vise, it's partial. This is a milling project, NIMS project again. And like I said, they lead in, one project will lead into the next one until your final 2 projects are your CNC, which I don't have any on my desk right now. CNC.
So that brings up another question I actually had was, what does the flow path of the coursework look like? These students that really want to get engaged in, automated CNC, and that's their last, what they're picturing in their mind. And then they start out with a base CNC or maybe a classwork. How do you keep them engaged, but also, give them the background and the foundation they need to get to the final steps?
The best thing is getting them engaged is getting them out in the shop right away. They have to have some knowledge before they get out there, though. We really stress safety. So that's one of the things. They're 10-hour safety courses, one before they can even step out in the shop. And there's some blueprint reading courses that they have to take and a few math courses. I like to get them out in the shop, get them engaged out there, actually doing projects. And we pretty much work with them all the way up till they start doing their NIMS, like their NIMS 3 project. And at that point, we're out there coaching them, but we're not telling them exactly how to do it. If they ask us, we're there to answer questions. Any questions they have, we're there to answer it. But it's a learn as you go. You fail, you make it again. You learn from mistakes. And
so is most of the coursework in series, or are they doing parallel coursework as well too?
That's in series.
It is. So you're working through each step and you're learning and building your foundation until you get to the end. Right. What course do the students like the most? What do you have the best results with?
I think when they get to the CNC, they enjoy that the most. Some of them do. To back up a little bit, we were talking about shadow days. Mm-hmm. Those, which we can't do now because of COVID.
Yep.
I cannot wait till we can get back to those shadow days.
And those were, sorry to interrupt, those were shadow days with local businesses?
Businesses, yes. They actually go out, the students will go out and they'll shadow somebody for 2 days. We had really good response with a lot of manufacturers here in Southwest Florida as far as wanting them to come in.
Yep.
And what happens when the students come back, of course, what I do is I have them write a little essay on what they've learned.
Cool.
And if it's good, I turn it back into the customer and let them read it too. But I've had a lot of students where they wanted to be CNC operators, and after doing shadow days, they said, no, this is not me. So this, I think all students wants to get to that point of CNC because it's computerized. They're young. Everybody's, got a smartphone in their hand. So
Yeah.
that's the way they want to go. They look at manual machining as old time machining, but it's something they need to learn.
For sure. So you guys mentioned you do a little bit of SolidWorks and Mastercam training as well?
Yes. They have a project where they have to reverse engineer a part. They'll take it, reverse engineer it. They'll draw it up. They'll bring me the drawing, and I look at the drawing, and myself or Mr. Porter, and we critique it. This isn't the way it should be. This is the way it should be. And after they have the print down, they actually go out to the shop and make the part.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get to see it from design conception.
Yeah, and I think even going back to what Greg was saying with the shadowing, students, and this is across all programs. They come in entering a program thinking that they're going to complete this program and walk into whatever job title position that they're going to have, that they have in their mind, and the shadowing really kind of allows them to see the hierarchies of what is out there, and where you might start, where you might end up, what's available. And with the CNC, one of the things I think that they quickly realize with some of the bigger companies that we work with is this: when you're a CNC operator at these companies, you're pushing parts, you're running a program that was designed somewhere else, you're kind of the caretaker of the machine. You're not necessarily the designer of the part, the programming, all the other entities that go into a CNC project that they do here in like NIMS. So I think that kind of helps them understand the different levels that are available out there. And some of them say, you know what, if I'm a manual machinist, I have, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's on me to make the size, to make the tolerance, to make the part. Whereas the CNC, I'm kind of setting up, running setting up, running setting up, running and what we're seeing is the students kind of backtrack that initial stage of I'm coming here to run a CNC, and they think, you know what, I have more ability and more creativity with my manual skills than I do there. And I know for the advisors that we hear from, they are extremely grateful for the manual, that we're teaching manual, because with that mindset of the manual, even if they do become a CNC operator, they have that manual skill set behind them. So they know, this doesn't make sense, or this isn't, something's wrong here. And before running it and destroying parts, they can take it to a supervisor. They can raise the question. They do that so that they have the skills and that background knowledge behind them. It's not someone walking off the street just running programs. So that's been really beneficial, and we've heard some extremely positive feedback from the companies that we work with based on that aspect of the manual manufacturing piece.
No, that's good. That's good for sure. The foundation's key, obviously. So in regards to that, I had a question. I think I'm losing it, but you walk them through this, this career path. Do you allow them to pivot within the institution? Do you have a secondary, put them on a different course path if they do want to get more into the design, or they, maybe it's the management courses? What do you guys typically do when you have a student that, maybe doesn't want to be just the CNC operator at that point?
There's some options for that, based on the instructor's knowledge, the resources available. But really, when it kind of comes to that, it's more of the helping to steer the student to a company that would allow for that kind of pathway for that student, that would support that pathway. And so again, it really comes to our work and our help from our advisories saying, Greg calling up whoever it may be saying, hey, I have a student who's really, really into this. They're great at this, XYZ. I know your company, you have these options available. Would you be willing to take this person on, have them come out, meet them? Are you looking for anybody? And start the conversation going that way. And that way, again, during that last semester, it gives time for the student to work at that manufacturer, come back here for training, bring questions, has that rapport with Greg, rapport with the business now, and kind of spur off in their own direction. Our evening courses, that's where we kind of get into that little more specialty piece. Now, we have had students that do our regular 1,500-hour program, but want specific training in whatever it may be. So they attend a night session or a couple night sessions too, or Greg loads that into their coursework for them to do. Some of our students, it does not take them the 1,500 hours recommended to finish all their projects and get to where they get to. So those students might have time left to expand and to go deeper. And that's where Greg and Ross would kind of tailor the training based on the individual. And that's kind of goes with all of our programs. And like I said, to kind of start with, we're handed this curriculum frameworks that's a guide, but it's not the testament. We can veer from this. We're supposed to veer from this. Dorn's main thing that he always says to both advisory businesses as well as our instructors here at the school is, our purpose isn't to just run students through programs and graduate them. Our purpose is to get these students career and get these students jobs. If the training we're providing isn't leading to a job or a career path for these students and employers that want our students, then we're not doing the right training. We're not providing the right skills. So again, it really comes down to that rapport and that relationship that we have with all the businesses that we work with and support in the area. If they tell us something, is needed, we react and provide that need. If they're telling us that, I don't know why you're doing this, nobody uses this anymore, well, then we dump it. There's no need to waste time on something that's not going to be valuable once they leave our campus.
Is the intent, as you guys potentially scale up and get more students, to keep that same close relationship? Or do you have to go more to a structured curriculum at that point?
No, that's one thing that we won't veer from. There are technical colleges in the state, in the region, that do specifically, students come in at point 0 and they leave at this point, and there's no variables that occur there. There's no different approaches there. It's structured and this is the way it is. And our dealings with anybody that has employed students from programs like that is they're not happy with them. There comes the mindset of, we get these students, they think they know this, they went through this training, but they're coming to us and we have to completely retrain them. We have to do this, we have to show them this. So that's not beneficial to the school, to the student, to the employer. And so our idea of that and really using our businesses to guide and steer us is a non-negotiable for us.
So I'm guessing part of that is your summer internship program too. Do you guys get good involvement from most of the students with those programs?
Yes, Greg can speak to that, but I would say the majority of our students after 1 year have at least a part-time position somewhere and moving to a full-time during the summer break. Excuse me. And again, that's perfect. That's great because it provides the businesses with a test drive of the product, provides the student with that experience. Is this really the company that I see myself with? How are they treating me? What am I seeing? What are other employees that work for this company saying about them? So they get to see the culture, they get to see the environment, they get to kind of know all those prior to actually making a commitment, being signed on, taking the position that's being offered.
Okay. How do you typically fit the student with the business when it comes to the summer internship program? Greg, maybe you can comment on that.
A lot of times students come into the program with an idea of what company they actually want to go work for. I have a student right now, I'm actually working for trying to get him an internship already for the summer. His first day in the classroom, he told me what company he wanted to work for.
He's got his goals figured out.
Yeah, which was great. And I am working with that company right now to try and get him an internship for the summer. We have no problem getting students for an internship. Again, it works out really good for the students. They get involved in a real life situation and they can make a decision at that point. Do I want to do this? Do I want to be a CNC operator? Do I want to be an inspector? That's because a lot of times with these internships, they're not going to throw them to the wolves. They're not going to put them on a $1 million CNC and say, here, run this for the summer. A lot of them will go into an inspection where they'll inspect the parts, or they'll go into the deburr department where they actually burrs on parts. They file them off and prep them for sales. So they get an idea of what it's like and what they want to do. A lot of people, I've had people that turn their summer internships into full-time jobs once they graduate.
Now, during your coursework, I know it's, on the academic side, but do you practice some of the stuff you'd see in industry? Like, are you doing lean manufacturing and putting job lots together and showing them as it moves through the coursework? You know what I mean? Kind of merging industry with their academic part.
We teach 6S. That's as far as lean manufacturing, and I stress that does go into lean manufacturing. That's the first step. But as far as going into any lean manufacturing, 6S is about as far as we go with it. Okay. Introduction to Kaizen.
Okay.
And it's just your basic introduction of what it is and what's the purpose of it.
Yeah. So do you guys offer QA coursework, or is QA and, quality control part of the general work?
That is a course that we are looking into for the evening.
Both campuses have a CMM, and the instructors have recently got quite a bit of training on that. And it is something that's been brought into both the full-time program as well as looking at adding that evening programming for and getting more involved with the QA and kind of continuing to roll with that.
You guys go through material handling, or at least, an overview of the different type of materials they may be handling? I know in the medical industry, they get into some titanium and some stainless. What do you guys go through with that?
We have a basic introduction to the different types of materials. Here, granted, we can't have all the types of materials here at the school.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. We do have some. We've had recently, I've had material donated from a company donated me a skid of material. They do see brass. They'll see a cold roll steel.
Yep.
They'll carbide and high-speed steel. I'll show them the difference with weight and feel.
Yep.
Not a whole lot, but yeah, they do get introduced to some different types of material.
Okay. Do you take donations from any businesses on the line that may be interested? All right, perfect. Just to know. And how are you guys working? This one might be more for you, Aaron. How are you working on marketing and increasing, enrollment regionally?
So again, we're a public technical college. So, seat time, taxpayer money, things like that is kind of how we're funded. So we don't have the reach of like a private profit schools that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and you hear their commercials day in, day out.
Yeah.
We have been very fortunate that we have had some grant money, as well as this previous since April with the CARES Act and some other funding that has come through the federal government and come down to us, as well as the rapid response grant that came through the Florida Department of Education, that we have been able to really use a lot of that for marketing purposes. I think it was roughly about a month-long campaign that we ran, end of mid-December through the beginning of January, and that was like roughly a $40,000 ad campaign that we ran, and we saw huge numbers of response to that. I think we had over 200 people submit requests or information regarding some of the rapid credentialing programs and other things that were being offered here at the college. So we always try to use a little portion of our Perkins grant dollars every year that come from federal government for marketing.
Yep.
But for us, I can say one of our best moves was we hired an in-house specialist, a former student from our multimedia design program. And she has been our kind of marketing expert, our social media person. 24 years old, has an eye for it, and we are all over social media, videos, posts, you name it. And really that free advertisement, we've seen better results from than the thousands of dollars that we've spent over the years on radio or TV. Our students who we're marketing to, most of them, they're not listening to the radio and they're not watching TV. They're streaming things, they're on social media, they're on TikTok, whatever it is. So that's where our ads are. We create them here in house, we do our videos here in house, and we push them out that way. And then of course, word of mouth.
Yep.
You take a heavy equipment service technician program that we offer. There's 25 seats available every year. There's a waiting list for students to get into that program. Why? Because all of their friends and people that they know that have gone through that program are making $80,000 to $100,000 3 years out of this program. That's the word of mouth. They're seeing it. They know the people that it go through. And I think we're starting on the cusp of that to see that happening in manufacturing. Our students are getting placements, our students are getting jobs, our students have careers, our students have benefits at some of the larger companies. So they talk.
Yep.
They talk about their experience. How did you get this job? Well, I went to iTech, I went to CME, I took this course here. This helped me get XYZ. So again, like I said, early on, manufacturing really isn't something that's out in your face here in Southwest Florida.
Yep.
It's a hidden gem. And to break through, especially here in Immokalee, that this is an opportunity and a great opportunity, is a struggle. But as more students are successful graduating the program and getting jobs, enrollment climbs.
Yep. And that's part of, what we want to do as an organization as well, too, SRMA. We want to promote this type of stuff. So I know your board members, Mike is a great advocate for you guys. That spreads the word, he never stops talking about you guys, which is great. So if there are any board members or anyone else on these calls, or you watch this video, and you guys on LinkedIn and Facebook, I would assume?
Facebook, yes. LinkedIn, no.
Oh, I gotta get the LinkedIn profile, but take a look, get on their Facebook and their LinkedIn after they create it, and give them a share. I'll do the same. Promotion just locally here, I think, is going to help out a lot. Just awareness that there is this type of program here locally, I think will go a long way, like you're mentioning.
Absolutely. And again, our evening specialty programs, those all came from input from the industry in the area that we work with, and we have contacts at that we send a survey out. What are the top 5, 10 things that your workforce is missing? What type of training would be beneficial? What can we take off your hands so you have more time to focus on production, right? So that's where we want to come into play, and that's where our expertise, our toolbox is right there. So rather than a company spending X amount of time having their employees go through OSHA training, send them, they can come to us for a few weeks. It's an online program that we offer. They get their OSHA 10 card in manufacturing. The blueprint readings, the shop math, whatever it may be, anything that you can hand off to us is more time for the companies to work on production. And that's really where we want to see the balance occur is what can we take off your plate? What is your team, your HR having to do to get employees in the door, get them upticked in training? How can we help share that time with you so businesses can focus on production?
Now, is the school aware of any federal or state grants, that companies may get for, training some of their employees? I know they're available. We've gone through grant seminars before and all that. Do you guys have awareness of that? So when someone approaches you for some secondary training for their employees, you can, let them know there are grants out there available?
Yeah, currently right now, all of our evening training is free. We don't charge anything. I want to say OSHA might be $20 per person, because that is an actual program that they go through. But all of our training is free. It's paid for through the grant that we got with the job growth grant. So we pay the instructor, students attend for free. we do a certificate, we communicate that with the employer, that so-and-so has gone through training. As far as grants, like I said, there was a little over 9 million for the job growth, or for the career pathways that Governor DeSantis put in last year. It is up again in his budget that he introduced this year. That again, when the governor introduces his budget, that's his dream. It's not always exactly what goes through, but it is in there slated. And that opportunity, the career pathways, is open to both to anybody, to industry and to public institutions, as far as a way to help train or bring in training for their employees. So I do know of that. I'm sure there's additional federal money. The Department of Economic Opportunity, the DEO, for Florida, is really the place that you want to go to and look at if you're a private industry, to see what's available that you can go after to help offset costs of training, or bringing in people, or paying an instructor in the evening, or whatever it may be, how the businesses decide to use that. And when we do submit the paperwork and get the apprentice program up and running again, that's a no cost. There's no cost associated with apprentices. Kind of the only thing a business has to do when they do an apprentice program is develop some sort of slated pay scale, that after however many days of training, there's a slight increase in pay, slight increase in pay, slight increase of pay, until they reach the 4-year or 3-year end, whatever the program may be. And again, that's an in-house decision based on the company, based on their top employees from their starting employees, and however they wish to structure that is completely up to them. So there are opportunities out there, but one of the best things with us is, again, we're a public institution, so our costs are minimal. Even for our full-time students, we're governed by legislation at $2.92 an hour to train students.
So I've got a chat question, or not question, I guess more of a comment. Career Source Southwest Florida is also a good opportunity, or a good resource for funding for training grants as well too. So Correct. They have information and they can help you if you are looking to train some of your workers. One more question, I guess this is for Greg, and then we're going to start wrapping up and closing here shortly. Greg, do you guys do like a capstone, like a final project where you're amassing all the skills they've gained over their year and a half?
No, not as far as a final project. A lot of different projects, it all adds up. But the final project is the CN. It'll be on the mill. Gotcha. It's kind of a tough project. They have to write the program. Wow. They bring me the program. I've been in CNC since 1978, so I'm very familiar with it. So they give me the program. I look it over. If there's any major problems, I'll tell them major problems. The minor problems, I'll let them work out. We have simulators, which will run the program through the simulator. And it's a lot better to make the mistake on a simulator than to make it on a $100,000 machine.
Yep, you're definitely correct there.
If there is a project, I believe it would be the CNC mill project would be the best one at the end.
Okay, that's good to hear. My final thing was just more of a comment. I went through your website. You guys have a great website. So I recommend anyone on this, watching this video, if you're going to send someone there, or they're interested in technical school, go take a look at their website. They also have, I had a question related to this, but you guys have, I think, most of it covered on your website. They have a cost estimator. So you can go in there and you can kind of find out if you're going to enroll in these courses, what it will cost you. And they've got, budgets for books, and they've got budget for the courseware. And they've got a budget for, I think, even housing in there. So I think it's a good resource. Typically, that's not what you see at a 4-year, or at least I didn't see that. I was kind of blindsided by the end, and I realized I had to pay everything back. So take a look. You've seen a lot of people go to technical schools because you realize the need might not be there for a 4-year, especially if you're already interested in this kind of stuff, CNC, machining, and all that. So I recommend going, at least take a look at their website, take a look through. There's a lot of career paths there. So I'm going to wrap up. If anyone else has any questions, submit them to the chat now, or else I'll let Aaron and Greg kind of give a closing statement, and then I'll wrap up this our roundtable. Anything, Aaron? What do you want to leave them with? Want to go over the bullet points?
There was just a I'm reading this question.
Is there
Hold on
one?
1 second.
All right. He didn't break it up into paragraphs. It's tough to read. It's okay.
Oh.
All right. Aaron mentioned there's an Advanced Manufacturing Collier County Board of Commissioners. There's a hearing on February 23rd for a change in zoning to allow advanced manufacturers to locate on Golden Gate Parkway. So.
Oh, great.
Just a little FYI there.
Yeah. So going back to your question, your statement bullet points. So, Immokalee Technical College and the Center for Manufacturing Excellence, two great options for people to come to get skills in manufacturing. Both schools have the capacity for 24 seats for full-time students during the daytime. The center in Golden Gate City right now also offers our evening courses and that specialty training. You can reach out to them to get a calendar, and I think we've issued Mike as well a calendar of upcoming trainings that I think he has shared with the SRMA board to kind of publish. They're great training options. Again, if you're seeing an unmet need, as companies are hiring people, please, I encourage you to reach out to Ross, to reach out to Greg, to reach out to myself, find out the steps on how easy it is to become an advisory member for our manufacturing, our advisory boards, how to get involved in that way, help us steer so we can help close those gaps for you. We're really here to be an asset for you, for the companies. We're, like I said, our training and what we produce is based off of the needs that you tell us. So if something isn't working, we change it because we're listening to what our businesses are telling us. And really that partnership, that relationship is key to the success for both sides of the fence here. Look for the upcoming apprenticeship training that we're going to be offering. Look for more news to come out about our permanent facility for the center. Again, that will be more of a regional aspect. There'll be programs from ITech, programs from Lorenzo, programs from FGCU, possibly Hodges, but I don't know yet. FSW will kind of all be in this one center offering a regional support, a regional approach to all things manufacturing and industrial. So it's really exciting. They're starting to get a little bit of buzz about it in our networking. Some things have come out. So that's all good things. And again, like I said, we only know what the businesses are telling us. So that's really what directs our training and what we go after. I encourage you to reach out to us. In the chat, I did post the link to the virtual tour for the school. So I know this is being recorded. If people want to go back, if you want to click on it, take a tour. And again, I'm always available to reach out to with any questions, partnerships, or anything that you'd like to forge or work on together. Always available. So thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Aaron. Greg, any last words?
Just, Southwest Florida, everybody looks at us as being a service industry. We service tourists. People, when I talk to people and I start talking about all the manufacturing that's down here, their jaws drop. They don't realize how much manufacturing is actually down here in Southwest Florida. Our advisory board, it was built up from about 3 people. I think we have, now we have 34 members on our advisory board. We have a very large advisory board.
It's actually the largest in the school now.
Yeah. Wow. And we listen. We listen to what they say. They're the experts out in the field right now. And what they want is what we try and teach the students so that they become better employees for them.
Perfect.
That's about it. I mean, as far as manufacturing, it's just not medical. We have a couple gun manufacturers down here, which might not be aware of. We have general job shops, which a job shop is a XYZ company needs 50 of these parts made. they have to go to a machine shop and say, quote me a price on 50 of these parts. And we have those types of machine shops down here. Got your little mom and pop machine shops too down here. We have a guy that started out a machine shop with garage doors. He had this idea of storage above garage doors, which we look at, you think, when you pull your garage door down, there's all that wasted space up there. Well, he saw business being made out of that. All kinds of things. And all that has to be done with machines. You have to make those parts to go above your garage doors.
Yep.
So
All right,
there's
perfect.
all kinds of manufacturing down here.
No, I agree. So in wrapping up, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate you coming on this morning and discussing manufacturing, iTech, CME. Bullet points, contact these guys. They customize the program. They can help you out. If you have something in specific you want to have done or brought to the industry down here, contact them. Promote them. If you hear anyone talking about someone that needs skills or training or wants to take a tech career, show them iTech, show them CME, get them to the website. And I know we're tired of the COVID stuff, but I think it brought to light this whole, the whole area down here and diversification of industry. Greg mentioned what it looks like from the outside is a service side economy. It just happens that the service side is so big, it dwarfs what we have here for manufacturing and what we have for everything else. So if you want to make it more rigid and you want to diversify and shore up what we have here for an economy, I would suggest promoting and investing in manufacturing down here. You can't go wrong with something as steadfast as making parts. Also, all the supply chains that kind of collapsed temporarily. Now we're trying to think about that in a different light. How can you bring supply chains back home? How can we take care of our own, region and even state? So I think there's going to be a lot of growth in manufacturing here in the next few years, hopefully in our region. From my perspective, SRMA, would like you guys to join. Anyone on here that is a non-board member or a non-sponsor, if you know someone that would like to sponsor or likes manufacturing in general, would advise you to have them reach out, info@srma.com, or go to our website through the contact page. We like to sponsor these events. When it gets back to in-person events, we'll have socials and we'll do plant tours, and we do a lot more. At this point, we're doing roundtables to keep everyone connected, but we'd love to have some more sponsors and some more affiliates as well. So in closing, again, appreciate your time, Aaron, Greg, great roundtable, a lot of information. Contact you guys directly. Anyone that needs to contact them can go through the SRMA. If they can't get a hold of Aaron or Greg, then we will connect you or answer any questions we can. So thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.